Hi, grade 10. So, a little bit more COVID-19 mathematics for you. What we're going to take a look at today is we're going to take a look at how the recovered and the active cases are published, okay? So, this is the situation on April 24th. You have 2.9 million total cases, and you've got 203,000 people that have already died from this. And then we have this other number, which is the recovered number, okay? Now, remember that the total cases are not accurate. You have gone through this a couple of times now. These depend on how much testing is done, how accurate the reporting is on these, okay? But this number is reported, it's not calculated. The same thing with the deaths. The deaths are also reported, but this is also not accurate. And one of the reasons that it's not accurate is because some of the people, particularly the elderly or people that were close to death from another disease, die, and perhaps they did have the virus but died from the very late stage of cancer or heart failure or whatever. This on the right here is a very good podcast if you're German, by one of the leading virologists, Professor Christian Dorsten. So you can check it out. And he places a lot of importance on saying when he doesn't know that something. So really not giving misinformation. Misinformation is so rampant at the moment. So if your German is solid, then just listen to that. And one of the things that he says in German is, for those some of the elderly people, we don't know if they died on corona or mit corona, meaning we don't know if they died from the coronavirus or if they died with it and happened to have it. So this death number is not accurate. But this recovered number, this is calculated, and this is what I'm going to show you what to do today and then have you calculate it as well. So the recovered and also how many active cases there are. All right, I'm going to do it for Austria. And the reason that I'm choosing Austria is because it fits the model that we will be using quite well, as opposed to with some of the other countries, we don't. So we know that the number of deaths is 530. And then here at the bottom, remember yesterday you learned some of the assumptions that must be made. We're going to be taking the assumption of 16 days for the amount of time that it takes from catching the virus to either dying from it or recovering. The 16 days is not accurate because some of the more critical cases take much longer to either recover or die. Those people that land in the hospital and are on ventilators, they're way past 16 days, but we don't have that information, okay? So 16 days is kind of taken in Germany and in Austria as more or less. Okay, so how do we calculate the recovered? The recovered is we're going to be taking since it takes 16 days for you to recover, then we need how many cases we had 16 days ago. And then we're going to take off the people that have died in the following 16 days. Okay, and then for the active cases, if you think about, well, who is active today? Well, it's all the people that all the cases that we have on record today, minus the people that died, minus the people that recovered, and the only people that are left are the ones that recovered. Okay? So here we go. We've got the number of deaths in Austria on April 24th as 530. And let's see, and we've got the number of recovered as 12,000. Okay? So let's see where we get with that. Okay, so we're gonna go to our handy dandy Excel, and I'm gonna go to Austria, and remember, the recoveries are, it takes 16 days to recover. So from my third cell, I'm gonna go to cell number 19, and I'm going to take the total number of cases that I had 16 days ago, minus the people that died by today, okay? these people are not in because they haven't had a chance to recover yet. Maybe they did, but remember, because we're taking 16 days as the length of recovery, then we're taking the people that had it, that would have had the chance to recover, so 16 days ago. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's see our recoveries. Now, either you can drag this number down like this all the way to the end. Or a nice little trick that I actually learned is if you just double click on the thin little cross in the corner here, it fills in the rest of the row for you, okay? And so what we have here is we have, see, and it continues on. We had 12,000 cases 16 days ago, and by now Austria has 530 deaths. And remember this number, we saw it right here. And so what we have is we have 12,000 about that recovered from this, okay? Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same thing and then see how many active cases do we have. All right, well, it's the number of people that had it minus the people that unfortunately died from it minus the people that fortunately recovered from it, okay? And if we do this, let's go to our active cases, then what we have is it looks like we have 2,000 and nope. All right, so we've got 2129. Let's take a look at our model. 2129. Okay, so we're pretty close, right? So it says that the active cases there is 26. How about the recoveries? 12,400. On the record, 12,200. So pretty good, right? All right. So I hope you understand. And something that I wanted to show you. Remember, this is not going to work for all the countries, okay? So I was actually trying to do it for Italy, okay? And what happened, so I did the same thing, is I took the number of people that had it 16 days ago. I gave them the chance to recover. I took off the deaths. And what you see down here is, oh my goodness, you see a negative number. And the reason for that is because on record, and this is early on, this is on February 8th, on record, Italy had 3 cases, okay? And then 16 days later, Italy had 7 deaths. So you've got 3 people contracting this and then 7 dying. And so you end up having negative number of recoveries. Well, of course, the reason for that is because this 3 is absolutely not accurate, right? Italy had many more cases by then, but they and Spain were slow to get the testing off the ground. So this number should have been much bigger, okay? So this is why when I tried to do this model with Italy, what we ended up for April 24th is for the recoveries, we ended up with the wrong values, and you can see how important it is to have the reporting, the correct reporting, okay? But don't despair. As you can see, this is active cases, and in Italy the active cases are going down again, okay? So just to recap, the total cases reported, not accurate but reported. The total deaths also reported, not accurate but reported. The recovered, when you see this recovered cases, that is calculated, as well as the active cases are therefore calculated by taking the total, taking of those died, taking of those didn't, and then therefore you're left with those still carrying it around, okay? This number right here from Worldometers, it says serious or critical, and these are the people that are taking much longer to either unfortunately pass away or recover. They are the ones that are part of the problem of throwing off that assumption that we made of 16 days. Okay, so now I'm gonna have you go and try to see how well we can get Germany to fit. And let's see. So as of April 24th, we, according to World Info, which is much more accurate than our model because they have access to much more information, we've got currently infected of 42,000 and we've got 109,000 recovered. Okay, and if you wanted to play around, then what you could do for different countries is you can change this parameter. So you can be subtracting not 16 days, but you can try 14 days, so a shorter average time, and so on. All right, so I hope you enjoy it, and let's see where we will get with Germany.